All right, Matt, Vin, and Jerz, we are back. We always say we are back, but now we really are back because no golf last week on the PGA Tour. There was a Masters title was given out. Shout out to Matty Walls. I'm sure we'll talk about the Masters soon enough. But how are you doing for the people who are listening on Spotify or Apple? You're wearing your Panthers shirt. I saw plenty of dismay from you over the weekend on that front. So how are you doing overall? How are you feeling with golf back in the NFL kicking off?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm a Panthers fan at the core. Been a Panthers fan since I was a young child, but I've cared less and less about being a fan, which is kind of a shame because I've been too focused on betting. But it is what it is, and I'm always hopeful for them every single week. And they come out, Bryce Young's first throw is an interception. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this has to be a joke. But either way, that's come and gone, and I don't really care what they do. But I'm happy to be back talking golf because that's what we're here to do. The longest off season in sports. It was a long week that we had, so I'm happy to be back talking some Live Shy DP and of course the Pro Core. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we have a robust schedule of events this week.
Yeah.
We've got it's the Pro Core now. It's no longer the Fortinet. I don't know if I think they're IT security. Not sure. Maybe the market's been down for them lately. So Procore, I believe, is a construction company, has stepped into the void up there in Napa. We'll talk about that. We do have Live Chicago. I believe they're playing at a public golf course this week, which
these times are available.
Yeah, we'll try not to upset the Live supporters this week. Of course, you are wearing your Aces hat right now. So what more could people say about our Live support? And then the DP World Tour. I just tweeted about this a second ago. The DP is playing the third ranked golf course. Some argue it's the best golf course in the world. Royal County down this week for the Irish Open. I don't think anyone knows. I don't think anyone cares, but we do. And the Ball Knowers do, because any time we get to see the pros take aim at a course of that caliber. I was looking at the top 100. We'll talk about it in a second, but there was Shinnecock. It was Pine Valley. All these courses, famous courses that if anyone knew they were playing, people would be hyped about. Royal County Down's right up there. It's third. We'll talk about that towards the end. And then we'll also probably quickly talk about, I'm wearing my Washington hat today. We do have the Apple Cup this week. They've switched up the schedule here, so we have to play Wazoo this week. We haven't given up a touchdown this year, Jerz. I don't know if you're aware of that. We continue to play great football. I believe we've won 16 consecutive home games now. Still not ranked, but maybe a win this week.
It's going to change in 2 weeks when the boys come to New Jersey.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be.
Are you confirmed again? I
would say I'm like 90%. As long as we win the next two games, like I'm definitely not a bandwagon fan. Like, I'm as committed to UW sports as exists.
I don't think anyone would say that.
No, but the only reason I'm saying that in the context of if they were to lose to Wazoo or Northwestern, I would be so down in the effort to get out to Rutgers. It's not like an easy journey. So that's the only reason why I'm not 100% committed. But if we beat the Cougs this week, I feel comfortable about beating Northwestern. I don't think that should be a problem. I'm not actually worried about this week either, but I do want to see how the boys play this week against our first serious opponent before I commit myself to going out there to Rutgers.
All right, because if you're there, we're gonna have a nice little pregame tailgate. So let me know.
And the other piece of my trying to figure it out is a couple of my best friends that I went to school with at UW are going to be in New York around that time. So I'm trying to figure out if they're going to be out here, because it could be electricity if they come out and we all meet up at Rutgers.
Yeah, this is going to be a big week though, because Wazoo's been they looked all right the first two weeks. So should be.
We'll talk a little football at the end. I think it's gonna be a tricky game, but I like what Jed and the boys have been showing so far for the Dogs. But yeah, so before we get to the Pro Core, it kind of actually feeds into the Pro Core. It's all going to kind of come together here. Wanted to talk President's Cup. They announced the teams. Was it last week that the teams came out? I think it was last week.
Beginning.
Teams came out last week. I was getting some messages. Some people were wanting our takes on the Prez Cup. So I think it ties in perfectly, because a lot of the guys who are playing this week in the Pro Core, who maybe wouldn't play this event, maybe haven't played this event before, are playing because of the President's Cup. Jerz, the far and away shining, flashing red light tragedy of the team selections was our boy CD Cam Davis, PGA Tour winner this year, 2-time Rocket Mortgage champion, probably 2 or 3-time future major champion.
Those out either.
Won the Masters this year, beat Nikolai down the stretch at Augusta. He was left off the squad. I'm upset about it. It's been about a week since that came out. How are you feeling? And will you be watching knowing that atrocity took place to our boy?
It's a great question because I'm not sure if I'm going to be watching. Like I said, they don't just give out titles, they don't give out championships at Augusta National, which obviously Cam Davis has. You can't just get up and down on 13 like Cam Davis did from the right fairway. So it was a mess seeing the teams, and I'm sure there's other guys that you're concerned about as well. So I mean, good for us as American golf truthers to probably have a better chance to win now that Cam Davis is not going to be there. But it is what it is. So sucks that Cam's not there.
And once you realize that the international team has committed themselves to luck box as their strategy, which I don't dislike that, to be honest with you.
Good strategy, okay.
If you never ever win, sometimes you got to switch it up. Sometimes you got to go outside the box. Sometimes you have to commit yourself to luck boxing, which once I realized that's what they were doing, yes, am I upset that CD was left off the team? Am I upset that Ryan Fox has been left off the team? BMW PGA defending champion. You'd love to see him there. Played great at the Canadian Open. Not sure why he's not on the squad.
Fox. That's crazy.
But when you have Mackenzie Hughes, when you have Minwoo on your team, you're committed to chipping in every hole. You're committed to missing the green intentionally and chipping in every hole. And CD, world-class ball striker, world-class flusher of the golf ball. He wouldn't have fit in
too. He'll chip in. He will though.
He will. But I think once I realized where they were going, I kind of was glad that CD would steer clear of it, not get some of the luck boxing on him. I want him committed to high quality ball striking, major championship quality golf. Yep. So it appears to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it's Internationals is fully committed to luck box magic to win the President's Cup.
Which is a good formula if you know you're not good enough, and like they obviously aren't the worst team, the inferior team, have the home course, so they're gonna go with that route. They're gonna miss some greens, hopefully chip in, find some magic. But I was definitely shocked to see. I was probably wrong if I didn't guess the President's Cup team like we did in that chat for the Internationals, but I definitely would have been wrong trying to select that team. Whereas the Americans, I was only wrong about. I thought it was going to be Akshay over Max. I got all the other 5 right. Obviously, the autos were the autos, but I went the 5 I had correct except for Max. I thought Max had no chance, and I thought Akshay would get on the team. So obviously, we're gonna, I'm sure, talk about Max, but I just don't know how the hell this guy's on the President's Cup team. I understand what he's done, but if you're going to go that route, then where's Justin Thomas? So I don't think Max deserves that spot. Unserious.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up Max. I'm glad that you brought up his unseriousness because people were also upset. Last time we potted was the Tour Championship. Previous, the week before the Tour Championship was Boots Castle P. You had a little bit of not an incident. I don't even know there was an event took place between you and Max Homa on the golf course. I forgot to bring it up because he wasn't good enough to play in the Tour Championship. He also didn't play good enough at Castle P. Usually when we're talking through the previous week's event, I've got the leaderboard, I've got the stats up. He didn't even come into my mind because he's been playing such bad golf, Jerz. Before we talk anything else, just do you have a statement on what took place? People were asking, people were wondering, they wanted to know. And for people who didn't see, you tweeted out, you were there. You saw him taking 15, 20 minutes to hit. He was getting a ruling. It was absurd. You were saying he's unserious because, let's be honest, I've been talking about this for, 6 months now? When I called out that Max had the driver yips off the tee, and I was concerned about his career because we've seen what happens to Max when he gets the driver yips off the tee. He's the only top 10, top 20 golfer in the world who's ever had that extreme of an issue off of the tee. You just don't see it. It doesn't happen. Now, he did overcome it and turn into the player he is now, and hopefully overcomes it again because we like Max. But all that to be said, that was the context for what you were saying. He chirped you back. He came back on Twitter for the first time in months just to specifically chirp you. I'll let you give a statement on that event before we talk more Max.
Yeah, so first off, I have to talk about the term unserious. It's a term that we all throw out more than we probably should, because when you put it in that context, it doesn't look great. But so it's more of like an inside joke thing that for me saying unserious than what it really means, like on the surface level. But outside of that, I said what I said, and Max Homa has every single right in the world to clap back at me and say what he says. I go back at him, he goes back at me, and then feel like a lot of other people would have tried to go back at him again, but it's game respects game. I respect his game. He responded enough. He responded to me. So, and then the tweets below that were, it was known between, it was people flaming me or like flaming Max. There was zero in between. And like, they were like, Max just roasted you. Max just got you so bad. Like, if we're being honest, he could have got me a lot worse than he did. Like, he was polite. It could have been way worse.
And then the other half of people were shitting on Max, saying you're playing so bad. Like, you need to play better. So, yeah. Overall, I think I was shocked when it happened because I think I opened up Twitter and it was like the first thing I saw after not being on Twitter. I'd seen your post earlier in the day and like it wasn't blowing. I mean, it was doing like average, I'd say. It was normal tweet. And then when I opened it back up, all hell had broke loose. The Discord was popping off. It was great. At the end of the day, like you said, anytime you've got one of the top, I don't know what Max's rank is right now in the world, at one point, top 5 golfer in the world, talking to you on Twitter.
Social media number 1.
Yeah, that's a win. That's a win for the boys. That's a win for Boots. That's a win for Vince. We love Max, but I will say I am concerned. I've been concerned for a while. I don't remember which pod it was where I think I first called it out. If we're looking at his stats, it was probably around the Charles Schwab was the first event where it was like, whoa.
I think it was because I brought him up about like 40-1 or something in that event, and then you brought it up there.
Yeah, and he lost infinity strokes off the tee there. He's lost infinity strokes off the tee in his last couple of events. I mean, he lost so many strokes at the BMW. You saw him there. He did amazingly have a +8 approach effort that week at the BMW. Funny. So everything else in Max's game it remains pretty good. I'm just legitimately worried that I'm not even worried. He has the yips off the tee right now. There's no question about that. And yes, can he go out there and drive it well on 12 of the 14 driving holes or 13 of the 14 driving holes? Sure. But when you have a blow it off the planet, lost ball miss on the PGA Tour where you're costing yourself 2 strokes off the tee with one swing, like you can't play the PGA Tour competitively with that in the bag. And that's why, like, him making the President's Cup team, it doesn't make sense. Like, it truly doesn't make sense. But he's on the team. He's there. He's playing the Pro Core this week, Jerz. Let's just get to it. Let's talk about it
He's got a Noren-esque rehearsal now. I'm not sure if
is he? Does he? I haven't seen that.
If the world has seen it yet, because it seems fairly new. I mean, we've been out there all season long. He's doing a very Noren-esque rehearsal, and he's one of the few guys who is king rehearsal on the putting greens. But he's done that his whole career. Like, he rehearses swings all the time.
Oh yeah, he's always like fiddling. If you watch on like a live featured group when Max is in it, he's always fucking around.
It's getting absurd, and it's a move that I've never seen from him before. So definitely something to monitor. But this is a great golf course for him to just go out and like just see something go through the hoop, because you could just drive it anywhere. Hopefully something could click in his head. So we'll see. I mean, we obviously both have 0 Max Homa. We're not going to bet him this week, I would assume. So, but I think hopefully he plays well, because we love Max. And I'm getting a bunch of hate. Honestly, maybe I cost us both some money, because someone responded to me and said, your love for Max Homa is the reason I canceled my Vincere subscription. So like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't love him that much. He's just a guy.
I
didn't really understand that tweet, but okay.
I think I know who you're talking about, and for some reason that guy really hates Max. I've seen he's responded before. But what I would say about Max is, if you want to see why I'm as worried as I am and have been for months, go on Data Golf, go to Off the Tee on his profile, and sort by like last 25 rounds or something, and then look at his entire career. You can see his entire Off the Tee history all in one view. His 2015 to 2017 off the tee, we're talking about a mirror image of the stats of his off the tee right now. Like, if you took that, if I showed you both of these off the tee stats, one from when he lost his career and went down to the Corn Ferry, and one from when right this second, they are the exact same. That's my concern. He did drive it a little bit better over the weekend at the BMW. I really, truly hope. And like, all these things I'm saying about Max is not because I want him to go to the Corn Ferry. I want his career to go bad. Like, I've probably cashed more winners on Max than probably any other player on the tour.
Both of us have. We both have hit Max winners.
Like, we love Max, but it's a fucking concern. This doesn't happen to the top golfers in the world, and he's in the field this week. He's playing on the President's Cup team. It's something to watch. Like if Max wants to come on the pod and talk to us about what it's like to go through this, because it's a fascinating, purely from somebody who's like fascinated by golf and just the mental side of it and everything that goes into being these top players. It's crazy.
It can help us because you and I both have sometimes driver issues.
Yeah, I've got the driver yip. So if Max can solve it for me, please let me know. And one more thing before we get to the pro court, Jerz. People asked for like a superlative boots, like, and I think what they were saying was, what was your best memory from boots on the year? And we didn't have time to talk about it yet. And so right in this moment, favorite boots moment, or maybe a funny story, anything that jumps out from boots that maybe we haven't talked about previously on the podcast.
Okay. I think one of the best boots moments was the moment that we realized that right rough percentage led to winners at Royal Troon, because it was we didn't even talk about it on that pod because we forgot to. We had so much stuff to do. But quick story. We were we were walking Royal Troon, and Adam was like, if you miss right here, you're just absolutely boned. Like you just cannot miss right here. So then he just like went on the PGA Tour apps from like mid 2000s to mid 2015s or whatever, and he was like, holy shit. Henrik was one on right rough tendency. It was like, and he just thought like it was a random take, and it ended up being exactly true. He didn't look at it before. It was just a quick one. And maybe when I smashed my water bottle at the US
I think
Open.
my favorite is when Jerz used his water bottle to test out the I don't even know
the Plinko ability.
Yeah, the Plinko ability of the little grass patches at Pinehurst. And I turn around and he's taking his water bottle almost a full swing and just smashing it into these little tufts of grass. And to be fair, it had no impact on the tufts of grass whatsoever, which is what we were trying to determine. But I was like, we're mere seconds from never being allowed at a USGA event ever again. Luckily, I told him to stop and everything was good after that. But it paid off because we learned that the ball was not going to sit in the grass patches there at Pinehurst. Well, let's get to it. The Pro Court Championship, brought to you by Fortinet, brought to you by Napa, brought to you by Safeway. A lot of different sponsors. Stanford, Silicon Valley. I have a lot of friends who live in San Francisco, so shout out to this event overall. Top of the board.
Pac-12 too.
Yeah, Pac-12 West Coast. Stanford, Cal, ACC. They beat Auburn. The Pac-12's been playing well this year, so things have been going good up in the NorCal Pac-12 region. What's your keys for the course? For me, this is like Bomb and Gouge Central, one of the most like driver putter type of courses of the year. The driving accuracy rate's super low because the fairways get super firm and they're super narrow. The greens get kind of firm too. It kind of becomes like drive it as far as you can and then get up and down and make a ton of putts. That's what I've been looking for. Obviously, Strokes Gain California, Teagues, and Max guys who from the area have had success there. But we've also had guys like Stuart Sink win. We've seen long shots win here. Cam Chance sent it from the tee, gained infinity and won. What are you looking for from a profile perspective?
Yeah, this is definitely an event that you and I have beef at, and BK as well, because I bet my Teagues 18-1 last year. And you guys got a little upset that he was kind of getting away with driving it truly off the planet.
Because we had CD who was up there. Like I think they were final group, or they were
just striping down the middle of the fairway. CD was, whereas Teagues was hitting it 35 yards right and having perfect lines, just avoiding the few trees that are out there that you can do. So that's just like I don't care where you drive it, just send it. Give yourself some wedges or shorter clubs and make a ton of putts. So that's what I'm going to be looking for this week. Kind of a tough course to handicap getting those guys, but obviously a 20-1 Sahith was able to get creative and do it. I wouldn't bet on it again at 11-1 because the variance in that style of golf is massive. But this kind of feels like a rocket type week, which everyone knows you're a rocket specialist. So, and you had CD last year. So let's do it.
Yeah, I've had success at this event, but mainly heartbreak. I had Mav McNeely the year that
I had Mav and Max. So I'm good at the Fortinet.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're listening in, if you're because at this point of the season, it's Ball Knowers only listening to the pod. It's usually Ball Knowers only, but now it's really Ball Knowers only.
Yeah.
An event that. Yeah, I'm looking back here. What was I pulling up?
If you're listening to the pod, just drop a comment that you're a Ball Knower because we want to see who's in there.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're 20 minutes in. Like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. I assume if you're listening right now, you probably already have liked and subscribed, so I appreciate that. But if you haven't, toss it on there. Of course, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, the 5-star review would be appreciated. I doubt we're getting a lot of new listeners this time of year. But if you are a new listener, we'd appreciate if you could toss a like and subscribe up there to set us up for big things come next year, 2025. But for this event, the last 5 winners have all been 17th or better off on the week in distance. So like you said, just smash it off the tee and go from there. Teagues last year lost strokes off the tee and only gained 2.4 on approach. Probably one of the worst ball striking performances that has ever won a PGA Tour event, but he gained almost 12 strokes with the short game. So that's just the thing here. Send it from the tee, have a 6 short game. That's the recipe.
He had to have hit 0 fairways because he was fine with distance, I would assume, last year. So he probably lost so many strokes off the tee because he's missed so many fairways.
Yeah, I think the field average was like 46%, and he was like 42. So he actually wasn't like terrible versus the field, but he was still below like field. It's just hard to gain off the tee here because it's hard to drive it long and straight because you can't hit the fairways. So it's like all the strokes gained tend to come with the short game around here versus kind of the average course. The 2 guys at the top are Teagues at 12-1 and Wyndy C at 12-1. I love this course for Wyndy. This is like the most Wyndy C golf course I think I could ever imagine. A course where you can launch it off the tee and win the tournament with your short game. And it's played in California, strokes gained Cali. Of course, Wyndy won at Pebble. Wyndy won at LACC. I absolutely, in every single way, love this course for Wyndham. The number's awful. 12-1 Wyndy seems like the last time I think he was this number was Houston, and he played terrible that week. He wasn't even close to winning. When I think of Wyndy, I think of him at 60-1 or whatever. I bet him at 28-1 to win the Shadow Leaderboard at the Tour Championship. He played good. He was in the mix for most of the week. We've seen low prices win here. Last year, I think when Teagues won, everybody would have said that the 18-1 you bet him was just like a grotesque number. The year that Max won back-to-back, he was around the 14 range. So like low price people have won here. This field definitely drops off after like the 50-1 range. What's your Wyndy thought? I think I'm going to battle with going to him the whole week. I don't know if I can do it. I see the pros and the cons, but I just love the golf course for him all around.
I mean, yeah, there's not a better golf course, and he's finally finding some things on approach and just looking like his early year self. But I'm a big don't touch Wyndham, like sub X number, maybe 30-1. Like I've been in that camp for a while. So I just think I just got to stick to my guns and not do it, but it does make sense. The last time I considered betting a Wyndham Clark that short was when he was the class of the Bermuda Championship, and that was before he had ever won, and he was around 18-1 and tried to backdoor it. So I'm probably going to be out on Wyndham, but I think he has a really high floor, and I think he is a guy who is confident and really wants to play well.
Yeah, and I think that's my question with Wyndham is like all of his good results. And now, obviously, a player of Wyndham's quality, it's probably true of Teagues as well. They've mainly been playing in the signature events. They've been playing in the majors. They've been playing in the big events. It's not like Wyndy drops down and plays a lot of lower level fields, but all of his top results come in the big events. Like Wyndy is the big event guy. That's his game. So that would be my concern with him is just like, what is the motivation level? I assume it has to be high, but at the same time, like, what does winning this event do for Wyndy in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I mean, not much, but I don't think him winning this event would be a career ruiner.
Oh no,
I think
no. This would be positive for Wyndy's career. Or not super. It would be on a scale of 1 to 10, with 5 or below being bad for his career. This would be like a 6. Like it'd be fine, and a 10 would be like a major win.
Like for example, we have a potential career ruiner on the DP World Tour this week. If Rory goes out and wins, career over.
I'm excited to talk about the DP because last week was the first week I dug into the DP in a while. So like I'm finally up to speed on what's been happening on the DP. But Wyndy versus Teagues head to head this week. Where would you go? Maybe not outright, just purely who do you think?
I'd go Wyndy. I'd go Wyndy for sure.
I agree. The only other guy below 20-1 is Corey Connors, who I don't think has ever played this event. Maybe he has.
I think he has.
Stand by.
Yeah, he's getting over 10 strokes ball striking here.
Oh, he did?
Before. Yeah, when like one week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what he's going to do, though. That's what he's going to do, but he's not going to putts.
Yeah, he missed the cut last year. But yeah, this is not a Corey Connors golf course by really any stretch of the imagination. I don't see any world where Connors gains enough of the short game to win. He would have to have he would literally have to have the greatest ball striking week ever to be able to win. I don't see it.
Comfy T18 now, just like hitting every single. He could hit. There's a world where Connors hits 72 greens this week. There's a world.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was a time period a few weeks ago, Jerz, where we were wondering if Corey Connors was practicing a short game, if it was coming around. And it hasn't lately. Yeah, I'm good on Connors. The next batch of golfers, hold on, let me get sorted here. There's 4 golfers in kind of the 20 to 25 range. I think you can get 25s on all of these guys except for Luke Clance. The best you can get is 22. But I'm going to bucket these 4 guys together to talk about and maybe give me your ranking from a betting perspective. Which of these 4 in this price range do you think is the best bet? We've got Luke Clanton, the amateur, who did not win the U.S. Amateur. That was a little disappointing for Luke Clance. Wasn't able to execute the Nick Dunlap, show how much dog you have, and win the U.S. Am as the favorite. But he was just coming off contending at the Wyndham, so we can't hold too much against him there. Speaking of amateur golf, Jerz, I'll check here while we're talking. I need to see who won the Sahali Players Championship last weekend. Jose was there, the winner of the USA. It was a big event out at Sahali. If you're a regular listener, I wonder if Cam Davis was there.
He probably was there scouting. Yeah,
yeah. Probably. I wonder if any Aussies in the field. But anyways, these 4: Luke Clanton, Max Homa, Mav McNeely, your boy, and Minwoo Lee. 4 guys here, all around 22 to 25 to 1. Any interest in them, and who do you like the best?
I could see myself starting with Minwoo. I like this course in terms of send it off the tee as far as you can and just get up and down with wedges, which is where I'd obviously not really a flow chart, but this is the style of golf where I'd prefer Minwoo.
And it's okay, Jerz, because I wrote up in the preview on the site that this is not a links course, but it's the closest links stat line. Like this plays like a links course from the winning stat line. So I am considering Minwoo this week, and the flow chart has been turned off for this week. I'm giving a free pass on the flow chart for this week's event.
Okay, sounds good. I love that. And if you can somewhat contend at the Rocket, you can contend here. And I would argue that, about the same field, maybe a little bit weaker here. So yeah, let's do it, Minwoo. He's going to be sharp because he's got the Prez Cup around the corner, so he's going to be dialed, taking serious reps. So yeah, I like Minwoo.
We talked about Max. I think I am totally good at this price on Max. I think he'll play fine. Like, I don't think he finishes last place or misses the cut. Like, I genuinely think because you can blow it off the planet here and he's got so much comfort here that he will play better. Like, I would not be shocked to see Max finish top 10, but I still wouldn't. That in no way for me would make me feel like he is back, because this course is so one of the least important driving accuracy courses, one of the least penalized courses off the tee, that there's nothing Max can do this week that will make me feel good about him going forward. But I do think he'll play better. What State of the Union on Mav? Because this price is grotesque on Mav by every measure. But with that being said, if he ever was going to win an event, it'd probably be this one. He's been playing fine. T3 at the 3M, T12 at the St. Jude. Any interest in Mav?
Yeah, when we bet him here, he was 65 to 1 or 55 to 1 a few years ago. And you're banking on him to probably gain 8 strokes putting, which he has the ability to do. But at 20 to 1, I don't think I want to do. Strokes in California, sure. I just think the number is too short. But Mav flow chart that I invented a few years back, it does make sense. He wins an event sub at a horrible number, which hasn't came true yet. But this is totally fits that narrative. So I don't know if it drifts a little bit, maybe, because the field is just so weak. He showed some signs the last few weeks of the season, gaining on approach here and there, which he never really does. So I don't think it's the worst bet in the world, just based on the field, but I wouldn't really advise it at this point yet. Could change come Wednesday afternoon. Get in the Discord to see where my mind goes.
And then there's Luke Clance, who could gain, if there's one guy who could gain infinity strokes off the tee and do the Cam Champ stat line, which was gain infinity off the tee and then just be +2 in the rest of the categories. I don't trust Clanton with the putter in a driver putter event, but Luke Clance may not need, he might be the only guy in the field this week who actually doesn't need a 4+ putting effort to win. The number is terrible. He's still an amateur. He's been playing amazing. Is it good bet? Good bet, bad bet, no opinion on the 22 to 1.
Bad bet, great golfer.
Okay. I agree. I think he plays well. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the mix at all. but I don't like the number. So I think I agree with you. Surprisingly, the regular listeners will probably be surprised this isn't a links course, that I would agree with you that Minwoo is my favorite in this range and who I'm giving the most look to. But when I think of a course where you just nuke it off the tee and then you could chip in on half the holes and win that way, if Minwoo was going to win, that would be how he would do it. So yeah, I've got my eyes on Minwoo in this range for sure. In general, how are you thinking about building a card for this event? Because, like I said, I'm considering Wyndy and some long shots. Like at 12-1, I could bet Wyndham at 12, and then 5-6 guys over 100-1 or something like that. Like I could see myself going there, or I could see myself going for a couple of these guys in the 20s range. But it does kind of drop off this next tier of guys we're talking about. But before we get to them, just how are you thinking about your card?
I'm probably gonna start around the 20s and then go from there. Maybe 2 in the 20s and then some long shots, or sprinkle from 20 to 30 to 50 to 100 plus, because there's definitely some bombs that I'm gonna give a look to and probably sling. But I'm probably gonna, if it would be anyone, it'd be Wyndham, but I don't think I can get there because I've never done Wyndham that short.
And I think it is like if Wyndham or Teagues don't kind of run away and like dominate the tournament, which
wide.
And I don't think they will. Like if Wyndham or Teagues wins, I think it'll be somewhat close down the stretch. Like after that, this next year of guys in the 40s, 50s, 60s, really not that different. Or I guess maybe the guys in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and above, not that different from these guys in the 40s, because this next tier of guys, these guys are all roughly 40-1. Jerz, Proj, JJ Spawn. Actually, quickly, I skipped Keith. He's 33-1. Somehow he always gets to be above everybody. I think we're both good there.
Yep. I said I consider 55.
Yeah, we're good there. So Spawn, Proj, Hoey, Harris English, Eric Cole. I've seen a lot of Eric Cole chatter out there. You might be most tipped this week. And Brendan Todd. They're all 40-1. Jerz. The only guy there who hits it far enough for me to really be excited would be P-Raj. But I did bet him here a couple years ago, and he played terrible. I don't think his history here is consistent. It's hit and miss. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. He has been hitting it better in general. Like, I do think if finally P-Raj was going to win, it might be this week, and I don't hate the 40-1. I don't really love the rest of these guys to win, just because I really think you have to be a top 20 to 30 distance guy to win at this course. Cole did play well last year. All these guys can putt to finish top 5, top 10 for sure.
Right.
I'd lean Proj here. Who do you like in this range?
Yeah, I actually love P-Raj. He's gained a ton of distance this past year. And like the crowds are going to be massive for him. He's going to be the home game. Greatest Stanford golfer of all time behind Maverick McNeely. So I think it's going to be a good week for him. I think he almost won the last time he played in California. No, it actually wasn't the last time he played in California. That was the Barracuda. That wasn't the last time he played in California, though. But he played well the last time he played in that event. So I like Patrick Rogers, and also like JJ Spawn too. Like he's just been fucking so hard.
Yeah, I was on JJ at the Wyndham. I was happy with that bet. That was the last time he played. I can't believe that. But that's the thing about this event too, is so many of the guys, once you get past these top players, just haven't played that much. Who knows what they've been up to for the last month? Like last time that I can think, not last time, but one of the times I think of where guys didn't play for a long time, they showed up and played an event, was Kapalua and Chris Kirk. Who knows what Chris Kirk was doing in the offseason? He was playing lefty. He was playing lefty, but that clearly got him in the right headspace. He shows up and wins the tournament after not playing good like the last time we saw him. So if there was a week to completely ignore recent form on a guy like Spawn, for example, and maybe target some guy who fits the profile down the board, I could be on board for such a take. But yeah, JJ's been playing great. Bo Haas, California. Any interest in Bo?
You play Bo in Texas, not California.
Okay, except when he won the U.S. Open as an amateur at Olympic Club.
Yes, outside of that.
Our boy, maybe not our boy, a guy that we've definitely been talking about this year, Mac Mice. Shout out to Mac Mice on a great rookie season on the PGA Tour. He's currently 89th in the FedEx Cup. I don't think he hits it far. I don't understand his stats, actually, to be honest with you. I think like Mac is... Yeah, I think he's just a good golfer. He's just kind of good at everything. Could Mac win this event? He's been playing great.
I honestly think he's going to be popular, but I love him. Like he's gained an average of 4.2 ball striking in his last 5 starts. And the last time he was in California was the Barracuda, 54-hole leader. So maybe he likes the vibes out there. I have a feeling that he's going to be somewhat popular though. But I think Mac Meissner makes a ton of stats.
Yeah, his putter is the biggest question mark, and that would be a concern for me. But I think he's top 10, not lock, but like this is a course where just being kind of a little bit of good at everything, you can basically guarantee you a top 10 just because you just kind of work your way around and you gain 2 in every category. So yeah, I like Mac. Don't know if I'll get there. I'm just going to kind of open it up actually, because there's so many guys once we get over 50 to 1 here that, and they're all between 50. This might be the most golfers between 50 and 100 to 1 in a field that like I've ever seen in my life. Just give me some names. Like who do you have your eyes on in this 50 to 100 range?
Mikey T. Mikey T.
I knew Mikey T was going to be coming.
Dude, he's a stud. Why would I bet Clinton at 20 when I can bet Mikey T at 80?
And Mike T, for the people who get mad when we use nicknames, that's Michael Thorbjornsen. Who's your favorite Stanford golfer of the week, actually? Because this is your area. This is your tournament. Who finishes highest of the Stanford golfers this week?
Brandon Wu.
Okay. I bet people were here a couple years ago. I remember that. And I think my take. Yeah. All right. I like that. Thorbjornsen might be the least accurate driver on the PGA Tour. I actually don't know if he's on the PGA Tour or not. Okay, so this is actually a question. He's 137th in the FedEx Cup. When I was looking at this event, this is called the FedEx Cup Fall. I don't know if you saw that. Do you have any idea what they're playing for or what is going on in this fall season?
Those spots are still around, and I think it's still, you have to get, if you're 125 or higher, I believe you retain your card. If you're 125 to 150, you have to go play KFT finals, I think.
And all I would say, and we shit on the PGA Tour all the time, which is part of doing a podcast about the PGA Tour. That comes with the territory. Like, if I don't know what the FedEx Cup Fall is, I have to be in the top, like 0.01% of people who know what's happening on the PGA Tour. In all honesty, like we think about it.
I might have been wrong too.
Yeah. Like if we don't know what it means, what are we even like? What is going on? How can anyone who works at the PGA Tour seriously present this tournament this week and be like, guys, great job. Like we're crushing it out here. Pro Court Championship. It makes no sense, Jerz. But anyways, I set aside my beef because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We're here to bet on the golf, and we'll bet no matter where they're playing. So they've got us hooked. They've got their hooks in us for sure. Us. So Michael Thorbjornsen at 80 to 1. You like that?
Great number. Yeah, I'm down. I mean, last time I bet him was the JDC, and he was there. Was that the JDC?
I think you've bet him. I think you bet him one more time since then, maybe 3M or something like that. I feel like I think you went back to Mikey T at least one time. But yeah, great call at the JDC. He hasn't finished. He hasn't played good at all except that one tournament. So shout out to you on that call. He gets back to the West Coast. I mean, when you look at his data golf profile, he within his last 15 starts is the NCAA Stanford Regional, which I assume was played at Stanford Golf Course there, a nice golf course. The Pac-12 championships were before that, the Western Intercollegiate and the Goodwin. So Mike T, he's back in California. He
knows these surfaces.
He's got to be excited. I'm just going to give you some names of guys who hit it far off the tee, and you tell me if you like them this week. Because like we've said, I think that's kind of the starting point of looking for a long shot would be a guy who sends it from the tee. That was not who I was going to bring up, but I did write up Goddard up 125 to 1. I like it. You like it? He's your guy.
Winner. PGA Tour winner. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm down for Goddard up. Also, Pearson Coody. This is Pearson Coody Golf Course. He showed so little dog at the fake disco that I don't think I can even. And his number is not insane. It's not like he's 300.
Fake disco might be a Boots Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we that one that's a story for another time, but that's the bake disco. So Pearson's one. The problem is he's only 125 to 1, which I don't love. He should be 400 to 1, but this is a Pearson golf
He's
course.
Been playing good. I like that.
Going a bit back up the board, John. Who do you like more between Johnny Vegas and Mac Hughes?
That's a great matchup. Wow, really good matchup. I think Vegas will win that though.
I agree.
I don't think I'm not going to bet either one of those, but I would go with Vegas in a matchup.
Yeah, I think I totally see the path for Mac Hughes gaining infinity stroke short game and playing well this week. But purely, from if I was setting the odds for this match, I'd have Vegas the favorite because he's going to gain with his driving.
Oh yeah, easily.
His iron play has been great. And he has some good POA results. When I was looking at his stats today, he's played good at Torrey's. Some of his better putting performances have been on the POA. 3M's a reasonable comp. Obviously, Champ has won both of those events. I like Vegas this week. He's 66 to 1. I don't hate that at all.
No, I don't hate that. I don't see him winning twice in that short of a time, but I mean, it happens. It really does happen, and it can't happen until it does. So I get ahead of it.
That's just a fact.
I'm not. It's just a fact. Everyone knows. So I don't hate it.
Here's a guy who's always popular who never wins or never even comes close to winning and is largely uncompetitive. I was going to say Chan Kim, but I think Eric Cole would be in the same bucket. You bet? Dude, didn't you bet Chan recently?
I like Chan Kim. He was like most tipped one week. He was most tipped at the. Was it? It might have been the Big Disco. He might have been most tipped. Yeah, it was. Like 33-1.
He is one of the worst putters on the PGA Tour. He sucks.
Yeah, him and Rico.
What is your? Actually, right. I like Rico this week. Rico is on my list of. That's Rico Hoey for those listening. Also, Patty Fish. Famously was on Patty Fish at the 3M where he played well. Driver putter, he played good at the Barracuda. Patty Fish this week. But another guy, these guys that make sense, their odds suck. Patty Fish is 75-1.
He won the Zurich, right?
Yeah, he won the Zurich with
Zach Blair.
Yeah, they beat.
No, Zach Blair didn't. Zach Blair didn't even contribute. It was all Patty Fish.
Fish did it all by himself. I've seen some love. I think you even brought up some love for him. This is a guy who got snubbed from the President's Cup. Jerz. This is actually disgusting. I know Nick Taylor's been playing terrible golf. He's been playing awful. He might have the driver yips with Max. And I get Mac Hughes, again, the luck box side of things, 100%. I'm fine with it. Whatever. Mike Weir, I'm left-handed. He's left-handed. You do whatever you want. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
But Nick T won the RBC Canadian Open, the only Canadian to win in Canada in anybody's lifetime. He won in Scottsdale, the most vibey, like you got to have dog to win tournament.
He has so much freaking dog.
Yeah. The only other guy who's won the WM anytime recently was a guy by the name of Scotty Scheffler. Jerz. Not sure if you've heard of him. So why is Nick T not on the Prez Cup team? And is he going to win this week because he's just so angry that he comes out?
He could win by 4. Like I would bet him Nick T -4 this week at like plus 3,500.
He's played good here. He has 3 top 10s in his last 5 starts.
Dude,
the Procore, Fortinet/Safeway Championship.
At the Procore, it's been the Procore for years. I'm down. Like, let's just do Nick T.
At the end of the day,
what's his number? 70-1.
Nick T is 80-1. Nick T's never lost the Procore Championship. He's never. He's
factor fiction. Factor fiction.
That's a fact. So. I still don't, even after saying all of that, I don't know if I can bet him because he's playing so bad. But purely vibes in this tournament where most of the guys are not good golfers, this might be the most narrative pick that you could ever come up with.
I mean, Prez Cup snub season is the entire fall, like every other year, and it works. And if Tyler Pendrith didn't, I don't think he's playing this event, but if he didn't make the President's Cup team and was in this field, he would be maybe -110 to win.
And the last time a Canadian got snubbed from the President's Cup team was Mac Hughes when he won the Sanderson right after the Prez Cup 2 years ago. So
in probably very similar form.
Oh, easily. So that's the Nick T case for this week, Jerz, which I'm trying to see if there's any other names that jump out here. Sammy Steves, always at a terrible price. Kind of makes sense. Who is John Keefer and why is he 125-1?
I saw he was, I think he's a sponsor exemption, got in last minute. I believe he is a college guy, or no, he came from the Corn Ferry Tour, I believe. But fact check that for sure. If you're listening, fact check it.
I have pulled up his profile, Jerz, because I was about to go to random Euro of the Week, just to shout out some names down the board. But it's just come to my attention that there is a guy I've never ever heard of in my life who's 125-1 in this golf tournament, and for that reason, we need to do a little bit deep dive. So he is a college golfer, Jerz. Can you look up where he went to college really quick while I give
Johnny Keeves? No relation to Max. Spelled differently.
No relation to Max. Shout out to Max.
Baylor, or the rare Baylor Bear.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of Baylor Bears playing high-level golf, which is surprising. I don't understand why Baylor wouldn't be good at golf. He had a fine college career, Jerz. He did not win at the college level, which is always something that concerns me. He a lot of top 5s, consistent player, not winning. He did go to the Canadian Tour fresh out of college this year, where he did finish T11 at the NCAA Division I Championships, and he has been playing some excellent golf, Jerz, on the Canadian Tour. These are his results on the Canadian Tour. T5, T2, 2, T6, T19, T2, T2, win, T4, T3. There's another Canadian Tour specialist, Hayden Springer, in the field who I like this week. He I think he came from the Canadian Tour. Yeah, so he's been crushing the Canadian Tour, Jerz. That's who John Keefer is. He's 125 to 1.
That sounds a lot like Adrian Dumont when he first came out. Just like he had like literally 10 top 10s in a row or something crazy like that and 2 wins. So play the hot golfer. I don't know, but that's all we know.
He's the same price as famous golfers like Neil Shipp, Jacob Bridges. Lucas Glove's 100 to 1. He's really started to struggle. Actually, I did want to quickly touch on why couldn't Cam Champ win again? He's playing good.
You play Cam Champ at Cam Champ golf courses.
He's been putting in 4 straight starts. He finished T12 at the 3M, another course that he won at. So
Cam Champ course. And when Cam Champ is the guy, you'll know, like he'll be 400 through 6, and then like, all right, we're in for a Cam Champ week.
Cam Champ needs to win. He's 164th in the FedEx, and I assume his exemptions are over because he won in 2021. It's usually a 2-year exemption. Cam Champ season. Cam Champ to save his PGA Tour. Cam Champ to win and save his PGA Tour card and get to go to the Masters again is the most Cam Champ thing that would ever happen.
Yes, and with the easiest T11 ever too at the Masters when he plays. Easiest.
And that would get him to Kapalua, where he's also automatic top 20. Gary Woodland. I think people will have their eyes on Gary this week. Jerz, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I do like Gary this week. I think he is kind of found something. He hit the ball well in his last start, I believe. He's kind of had a great tee to green run to end the season. The putter is surely a question mark, and the putter will surely let him down. But what is he, 150? What is his number?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so I think there's worse bets he made at 150. Like he can easily be around the 36 hole lead. I don't think his ceiling is there. Probably a better DFS play, in my opinion.
Random Euro of the week is actually going to be random international of the week. And I'm not actually saying this guy is going to play good. I just need to talk about him because I see him here on the list. Wenyi Ding is his name. He's from China, Jerz. He won the U.S. Amateur. I believe he beat Caleb Surratt in the final of the U.S. Amateur, or at least in the semifinals a couple years ago. He has been a top amateur. I've seen him in events on the DP, and he has played well. He was going to Arizona State for what I believe was either going to be his sophomore or his junior year. I think I saw that he quit Arizona State recently, and I know that because last week was the Sahali Players Championship. Arizona State was playing. Arizona State won, and I saw a tweet that said, good win for Arizona State because Wenyi Ding quit the team and isn't on the team. I'll check this.
He's in this field.
He's in this field at 600 to 1. Jerz, I just had to call him out as my random international player.
Wow, 600 to 1. Let's do it. That's when you bet Quest at like a similar number out of nowhere.
Then
these opportunities don't come often. I think I might tell.
Yeah, so that's my random. Any other guys that we didn't talk about? I'm looking up to
random players. Euro. I'll go with Henrik Norlander or Alejandro Tosti. Alejandro Tosti, a guy who I don't care about the form. Of course, like this, where you can just bomb it. And Norlander played really well in the mountains last week. Anytime you get Henrik Norlander on like a birdie fest with wedges, he's live, although this isn't really it. But so I'd probably lean with Tosti there in that matchup.
All right. I was kind of half listening because I was trying to find the Sahali Players Championship. And so when at the end I came back to, and you had created a matchup that included Tosti. That was excellent.
Tosti and Norlander.
Norlander basically won the Omega last week.
I know. And he was the last man off my card because I bet Skav Olesen over him at the same number. I was very upset through 36 holes.
It's really hard to find who won this event. After 2 rounds, Preston Summerhays was leading, but I don't know if he won.
Wow, I talked shit about him before the week started.
Oh, here we go. Team leaderboard, player leaderboard. This was hosted by UW. This is our official tournament in the college game.
Wow.
Can't find out who won, Jerz. It's impossible to know who won this event. But that's the Procore, Fortinet, Safeway, Greater Silicon Valley, Andreessen Horowitz, Sequoia Championship in Napa. I know historically that Xander and Pat Cantlay have vacationed in Napa during the Fortinet Safeway Andreessen Horowitz Championship. Do we know if Xander and Pat are going to be in the neck of the woods this year?
Good question. We will have to check Instagram, and I will definitely Photoshop myself into the Instagram picture if they do go on a double date. But I found the winner. I mean, it's Aiden Kraft, Oregon. Preston Summerhays finished Second, Jose finished second as well.
Nice. That's good.
Wow.
Jose
And
has really.
Tiger Chris finished T4.
Tiger did? Nice.
Yeah.
What I will say is, first of all, that sucks that Oregon player won the Solly Players Championship. That is disgusting. But, this is what I was going to say. When you said Jose, it reminded me that my favorite thing about Boots has been getting to learn the amateur players. I was so into the U.S. Amateur this year. I was checking the leaderboards, seeing how things were going, because we saw Jose with Louis, his friend, looking so fly at the Open at Troon. These guys were wearing the crispiest red sweaters. You couldn't have dressed better for those conditions at Troon than they were. So it was great to see him win the USAM. I don't think we've talked about his win since, but that is my superlative. That's my favorite thing about Boots, is getting to learn the amateurs before they go off and do great things like win the US Amateur and finish T2 at the Solid Players Championship.
Yeah, so shout out Jose.
I'm going to upset the live people here, but I have to do it because we're going to talk about the DP next, Jerz. The DP is headed to Royal County Down for the Irish Open. My favorite ranking of golf courses, the site that I like to use when we're going on trips, when we're looking on golf courses, is top100golfcourses.com. Free ad for them. They have a world ranking of golf courses, Jerz, and Royal County Down is third. The list is Cypress Point, Pine Valley, Royal County Down. Let me say that to you again. Cypress Point, Pine Valley, Royal County Down, and then after that is Shinnecock Hills, National Golf Links of America, Royal Melbourne, St. Andrews, Oakmont. Jerz, this is an unbelievable golf course that is hosting the Irish Open this week. Why we should have Boots, honestly.
I mean, that is actually why, and they don't have it here every year because it changes the year.
2015 was last time they had it. Winning score in a playoff. Shout out the Viking Cup. It was Keltson who won it at -2 in a playoff.
Oof, dude, this is gonna. I mean, Rory's got zero chance then, which is good for his career.
Yeah, this is. I was looking at it, so I was watching some videos. I was watching some highlights of 2015, and it reminds me of Troon. It looks like you get off the fairway and you are mega boned. I was watching highlights of 2015. Rory kept shipping it into the gorse. It's the exact same. Think of 11. Think of 11 at Troon with the gorse. They've got that gorse. So they've got good gorse at Royal County Down. And it looks to me like you're going to need to be in the fairways because Keldson is a short hitter. He was in the fairways. The leaderboard in 2015 was a lot of guys in the fairway. And that's led me. It's a terrible number, but I've bet him on the DP before and he almost won for me. He's an unserious golfer. He has no dog. But Aaron Rye will be in the fairway, Jerz.
Aaron Rye will be in the fairway. This also is a national open, I'm hearing.
So, it is. And Bobby Mack is in the field.
Yeah. So what do we do with that information?
How did Bobby Mack play at Troon? I don't remember.
He battled to make the cut, and like he shot like in like the worst weather ever. So like that's a win for him. He basically won back-to-back weeks. Yeah. So I mean, these DP leaderboards, fields have been the exact same the last few weeks, except we're adding in Rory, Lowry, and Shane and Bob. But from there, it's Seamus is up there too. But Seamus has been playing bad golf. I bet him in this event last year.
And what we just saw last week, I'm honestly mad that I didn't bet it. You play Matt Wallace when he goes over to the DP.
Yeah, it's obvious.
But it was a perfect example of you got a guy who I think he played an event or two on the DP after the end of the PGA Tour season. But Matt Wallace was playing okay golf on the PGA Tour. He was contending at a couple times. He comes over to the DP and wins relatively easily. He almost blew it. I saw, but he was pretty much winning the whole time. Matt Wallace was -120 going into the weekend of the tournament, which
saw that,
and he won. So shout out.
This is maybe the only time I've seen a defending champion at 300-1. Vinny Norms, 300-1. Obviously not the same golf course, but I think it's a very fair number. I think he should be maybe even longer because he's lost his game big time. So, but
how did Seb Sotos play in his return from self-imposed isolation?
He backdoored a decent finish, I believe. He wasn't really in the mix, but he played. I think it was just comfortable -2, -2, -1. I'm not sure what he did on Sunday, but I checked.
He finished T12. His stats look almost identical to what his stats have been. He was flushing the golf ball again. Nice. Seb Sotos at Royal County Down, the third-rated golf course in the entire world. Like, I don't know much about Royal County Down, I'll be honest. I wish I was there. I wish we had boots. I wish, and this is what I tweeted, only the DP. And we talk about the DP and the stupidity of the DP schedule all year long.Why are they playing this week? No one knows, Jerz. The PGA Tour season's over. The NFL is taken over. Nobody's paying attention. In those countries, in Europe, soccer's back. Like everybody's the Premier League. They're kicking it around. This is when we go to Royal County Down. Why didn't we go to Royal County Down the week before the Open?
That would have been so elite. The field would have been so sick.
It doesn't make any sense.
So sick.
Who is it? So like, how does this happen? I get probably it's tough to get these courses.
And so much better than the Renaissance Club.
I'm
excited to watch, though, because we'll be watching.
It's flabbergasting. But, yeah, this is, like, literally as good of a golf course. Again, let me read it to you, Jerz. Pine Valley, Cypress Point, Pine Valley, Royal County Down, Shinnecock Hills, National Golf Links of America. If golf was being played at any of those courses, people would be excited. So if you're listening to this pod, you're a ball knower. Wake up. Get your coffee golf. And honestly, Northern Ireland, the time zone, it's not that far forward. It's coffee golf, but it's really not even that early. So Irish Open.
Yeah, we're going to be watching. I mean, we're going to have cards.
Thirsty Law, after being mega popular last week, is 33-1. He was 16-1 last week. And
he finished third last year, I think.
Yeah, and he won the Open at Troon. He won it.
And he won the Irish Open.
Yeah, so I'd give going back to Tristy a look. But any guys you have your eyes on? Tommy McKibb's home game?
I like Fox, man. Like Fox at that number is fine. Nikolai drifted all the way to 40, but
I bet Nikolai last week.
With him. Me too.
I think there was a third Højgaard brother who we don't know about who got to tee it up at the Omega for Nikolai. It was like you didn't make it on the tour like your brothers, so you get to play this week because there's no way he actually shot like 9 or 10 over par or whatever he shot.
Yeah, and I bet Alex Fitz last week. And he played really well until the weekend came around. But the weekend, there was Diffie C's on the weekend. It was fun to watch. So Alex Fitz might be good. I'm not sure if this is the course for him, though.
What about Montecero? He was mega popular last week, too. He's 70-1.
Mateo, yeah. And how did he do?
He missed the Cutchers.
Yeah, it checks out. I bet Montecero like 3 weeks ago. I don't know.
Also, before we stop the DP, I do need your statement on Nicholas Norgard Moeller won the Betfred British Masters, Jerz. You have how many times do you think you've bet him in your life?
So many times. You're like the only one that knows that.
Were you mad?
I kind of was mad because the year before he blew that event. He almost won that event. Because he like 4-putt from like 10 feet to lose to I forget who won that event. Or Rye. Was that Rye who won that?
Which event?
The British Masters. Who won the year before?
Danny Hills.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Yeah. So I was mad because he almost won the year before, and it was so obvious, and he was a good number. But I was like, I bet this guy so fucking much. I'm not going to bet him again. And he freaking won. And he tried to blow it, too.
He did. I saw he had like one of the worst chip. I genuinely was like worried he was never going to get the ball on the green, and luckily he did. But when you go he's like a top 5 driver of the golf ball in the entire world right now.
Bro, insane. He is so good at golf. That's why I bet him so much.
But yeah, so the DP, Ewan Ferguson. I'll have my eyes on Ewan. Always have my eyes on Ewan. I had my eyes on Juicy last week. He played good. I think every time I've bet Juice, he's finished top 10. I can't promise that. That's probably not true.
He's a Diffie C's guy.
What about a Diffie C's guy who fucks on the link? Shub Sharma, 110-1, Jerz.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is Diffie C, so I'm down for Juiced. And the last 2 times they hope this course hosted the Senior Open, it hasn't gotten to double digits.
We have to bet Shub Sharms at 110-1. He is a links specialist.
And he was so popular like a week ago. It fit like 40-50-1.
And he played good, T18. Who was I going to say? Oh, other link specialists on the DP that come to my mind. Romain Longasque is a link specialist.
Tommy Dietz.
He's playing, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like 40-1, 30-1.
Tommy Dietz.
Best golf of his career right now.
What happened to Yanni Paul? He's been playing terrible.
So bad. I bet him a decent bit too.
Which event is John Katz playing in? He's listed in both tournaments.
I saw shout out Kyle. He tweeted that he was parlay both of them. So I don't know what he's playing.
Okay. So that's the DP. Get your eyes on it. If you're not watching the DP this week, you're not a true ball knower. That would be my assessment. Because if you don't want to watch the pros play Royal County Down, then you're not a ball knower, in my opinion. And then finally we got Liv. I looked at this course. I've seen people talking shit about this course since they announced that Liv was going to go play at this event, play at this course. And I didn't think too much of it because then I also saw the Liv people like, man, you don't know. Like, this course is sick. And I went to for myself today, and I looked at it, and this is how I assess all Liv things. I give my honest opinion, and then sometimes I like what Liv is doing, and sometimes I don't like what Liv is doing. This course looks like a just terrible Muni course. It really does. All the hot takes about it, I think, are right. They're going to shoot infinity under par here. How would they not? Right?
Yeah, I
it's only like 7,100 yards.
7,100. I was par 71 or 72. It doesn't even matter, and it seems fairly open. It seems like
they could the fairways look like they're going to have they're going to drive it 350 down the middle and have like flip wedge onto basically every hole.
I mean, this for a guy who doesn't win on Liv, Bryson, I might be a Bryson. Why not?
And I was looking. Hold on, let me pull up the Liv odds really quick because I saw that the last few weeks, Rahm he was like 6 to 7 to 1 for a lot of the events in recent weeks, as you know better than anyone. His odds on a weekly basis on Liv, and then he won, and then he was still like 6 or 7 to 1 at Greenbrier. He's down to 450 this week, so the books think that Rahm is just going to go infinity under par, but that leaves Bryson at 7 to 1, and I agree with you. Like this could just be Bryson shoot 54 and win the $54 million prize from Saudi Arabia week. Like if somebody was going to do it, this would be the week.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he could definitely do it. I'm down for Bryson, single B. But also I could also see myself going back to my take for last Live event was these guys don't care right now. Let's just build a card, and it almost worked. Like I know Brooks won, which of course he'd win when that's the case. But like Rack City, it was in the mix. Munoz was in the mix. Guys, we both bet like long shots. Yeah, I can see a world, but do I want to bet a 71 Bryson? Potentially.
What about your thing with Cam Smith? And I'm bringing up Cam Smith because I think this year a couple of times, like Rahm specifically, you've been on guys and then you hopped off right before they won. For all the reasons that you've liked Cam Smith recently, he's 16 to 1 this week. Why couldn't he?
And this is a great golf course. Yeah, I'm down. Actually, I'm betting Cam Smith. Thank you.
All right. If he wins, I might not bet him. And then if he wins, you got to give me a small bit on the side for that. But yeah, Brooks, who knows what he's going to do ever, but he keeps being 16 to 20. If you just bet Brooks every Live event, you have to be up money, right? He's been like 20 to 1 each time he's won.
Yes.
Louis won't go low enough. Sergio. But yeah, I think we've gotten good on Live of building cards. Like we're elite down the board, seeing who's going to pop on Live. But I worry when it gets this under par that like it's tough once the pressure kicks up, because these guys obviously still feel pressure down the board. I worry about when you need to just keep making birdies, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Like first round leaders we'd probably have like every week. But I agree.
So that's Live Chicago. The other thing about why Rahm might care is he's battling Neiman for the tour championship, basically, right? They're like the only two who can win, and you get like infinity money if you win.
What's Neiman's odds?
7? 850.
Neiman posted a video of him absolutely grinding, like hitting the bag, like the heavy bag, like doing like crazy ass prep. So he looks like he really wants it.
Yeah, they're playing for him and
a lot of money.
It'd be the most money Neiman's ever won by infinity amount.
His crew is probably dialed this week.
They are focused. All the crew.
Remember when Neiman hit the moment? Neiman shot.
So the best part about it
shot ever.
Yeah, that was Neiman on that was 13. I think it was 13 because 14 was that par 3. And the wind was blowing so hard. And we had not seen any guys hit any good shots. And he hits the most amazing drive we've ever seen. And then the best part was that you like fell to your knees in like shock when he like walked up, and he gave you a thumbs up. Like, yeah, that's a golf shot right there.
He knew. Yeah, he knew. That was insane.
Quickly, football talk. Like I said, it's a disgrace that the Huskies aren't ranked. I just saw somebody tweeted out a chart of like the efficiency stats this year. Yeah, different chart, but a chart nonetheless. And in the top right corner on the chart was like all the top 5 teams in the country right now and Washington for how they've played this year. So you take a team who was lost in the national title last year to Michigan, who Michigan automatically gets to be in the top 10. Clearly, they're nowhere close to the team that they were last year, but no one asked any questions about that. They automatically get to go in the top 10. Washington has come out, played excellent football the first 2 games of the season. Like we've played, we haven't played anyone good, but like we're looking fine, and the stats back it up. We're still not ranked. I'm upset, but I'm not going to get crazy upset until we take care of the Cougs this week because I'm a little bit nervous about it. What's your current state of the union on college football? Because I know you're an Alabama guy. It was looking sketchy there. Kalen DeBoer, classic. He only plays close games, so I was not surprised by what took place. I think Alabama fans probably need to get used to that. But how are you feeling? Who are you liking now that a couple games have come in?
I think Alabama just has a South Florida problem because they almost lost to them last year as well. So it's just their kryptonite. I'm not worried. Jalen Miller for Heisman. We're on the right path. We have some games coming up that I love that I just became an Alabama fan, by the way. It's just kind of funny. But yeah, Alabama looks great. Texas looks great. My two futures at the top were Texas and Bama. So Texas very, very impressive in Ann Arbor. I know it's this Michigan team, but still a very impressive win.
Yeah, and what I'd say about Texas, also, of course, Washington has beat Texas.
Biggest win in years.
Yeah, and I love talking about Texas because it reminds me of Washington beating them in the Sugar Bowl last year. So we can talk about Texas as much as we'd like. Also, my girlfriend went there, so it's a great time for me to bring that up. Horns down as well.
Is she a big fan?
Care. She doesn't care at all. She has a lot of friends who, now that I've met through her, who are big fans. And so, like, last year we were talking about it all the time. But I set that all up to give credit to Texas. Obviously, yeah, they beat the number 10 team in the country, but like, Texas had issues last year in multiple spots. That's why, like, when they went into play UW, I felt pretty confident. Their corners were not very good. Their offense was good, but inconsistent. They played a lot of really close games against bad teams last year in the Big 12. And now they've only played 2 games. This could happen down the road. Purely from how they looked against another good program, Texas was on the cusp of winning the title last year, and they look even better this year. And Quinn Ewers is fantastic. My question with them is I don't trust Sark to win the national championship. That would be the only thing that I would question about them.
It's like if not now, then when? But clearly they had no choice but to improve because they're going to the SEC. Like, they have to get these guys, and just having that SEC title will allow those guys to come in just financially and just. In the grand scheme of things, guys are going to go to an SEC school. So they look good. Doesn't matter. Like we said, Michigan's ass, but you don't just go into Ann Arbor and put up that result. So good for Texas. I think they are on the right path.
Oregon, I do need to bring up Oregon. This is my other question. So Oregon, again, Washington has beat Oregon the last 3 times we played, beat them twice last year, if anyone remembers. Oregon automatically got to be the number 3 team in the country this year. They won the offseason national title, as they always do. Shout out to Oregon. I've said many times, Dan Lanning is one of the worst football coaches in the entire country at coaching the game of football. He's a great recruiter, but he gets hyped up as like the greatest coach ever. And I only say that because the only reason Washington has beaten them the last couple of years is because he fucked up the game plan and basically handed the game to Washington. Like, his decision-making on 4th down decisions and like things that he's a bad football coach. And I don't know why people don't talk about it more. And you're seeing it this year. Like, they've barely beat Idaho, and they probably should have lost to Boise State. They had 2 special teams touchdowns, or they probably would have lost to Boise State. Again, as a Washington fan, I'm extremely biased, but I don't see how Oregon could start the year at number 3 when Washington beat them twice last year, has already gone out and beaten 2 equal teams to what Oregon played, and one, Boise State's a little bit better, but they have 0 chance of winning the national championship.
No, and I don't know why, like, Dylan Gabriel gets all the hype because he was ultimately, like, pushed out of Oklahoma because they had the kid Jackson Arnold, who, if you pay the NIL money to these kids, they're virtually promised a spot to start in 1 to 3 years. So they kind of just, all right, we had your time, Dylan Gabriel, go somewhere else. We have to play Jackson Arnold. That's the same thing that happened with Kansas State this year. So he's not anything special, or else he'd still be at Oklahoma where he was.
Right.
So yeah, I agree with you.
I think Ole Miss is really good. Like, obviously they haven't played anybody, but I was high on Ole Miss before the year even started. One of the reasons I like them is they got the offensive lineman from UW last year, like our best offensive lineman they have this year. I like Ole Miss. What do you think?
I don't trust Lane to win the big one.
I agree. And that's why you end up back with Georgia and Ohio State. And it's like
Ohio State looks like a problem. If they can dial in that quarterback play, which we don't know how it will be, their defense and skills are insane. The Jeremiah Smith kid, the wide receiver, number 1 recruit, like 18, 17-year-old, already looks better than Marvin Harrison. Like, they're going to be good, but I still want to roll with my Tide.
And what I'll say too is, having this been the first year that Washington is in the Big Ten, this is the first year where I've been like, when I go to the ESPN app, I still go to the Pac-12 drop down every time I go to check the scores. Like it's taken me some time getting used to, but it's been interesting. Like I have to care about all the Big Ten teams now, so I can be up to feel for like how Washington's season's going to go. And it's still early. We've only played 2 games. Ohio State is the clear class of the Big Ten. Like, I don't even think it's close. I think they should easily win the Big Ten. But I think after that, the Big Ten's kind of wide open. Like, Penn State's not that good. And just the thing is, sure, I don't think Washington's going to win the Big Ten. They may not even finish top 5 in the Big Ten. But you can't convince me that Washington is not equal to most of these other teams in the Big Ten. Like, we own Oregon. Penn State is Penn State. Michigan doesn't look great this year. I think outside of Ohio State, like we've got a fighting chance, right? The Huskies?
Yeah, they all do. So I mean, look for Rutgers to win 9 games this year. They don't play Michigan or Ohio State.
So, and I think that's what's going to happen is like there's so many when you go to the Big Ten in the app and you look at the standings, it takes up there's so many teams that whoever gets the lucky scheduling by who you get to play is going to benefit so massively.
Yeah, Rutgers has to go to USC, which is obviously not going to be easy. But outside of that, they can literally win a lot, like all the games. Like Washington at home, if they're probably going to be like a 3-point dog. If they win, no one will be that surprised.
No, we have the second longest home winning streak in the country, and like we've played. Oh, you're talking about
no? Rutgers plays Washington at home, and they'll probably be a 3-point dog.
Yeah, no, that game too. Like Rutgers will probably win because Washington has to go play a Friday night cross country game after playing on Saturday. Yeah, like I'm worried about that game for Washington. So yeah, Rutgers could easily win that. And then what I was saying about Washington was like we play Michigan and USC at home this year, and we can win those games with our home crowd.
Big. And then they go to Oregon.
We go to Oregon, which is just a rivalry game, and we know we could have a fighting chance there. Our other toughest road games are Penn State, who. Like, that's going to be a tough environment, but we can put up a fighting chance against Penn State. And then Iowa. We can beat Iowa. Iowa's a joke. So,
yeah. College football, we're here. I love it.
Some people are saying that the Rutgers-Washington game could decide second place in the Big Ten. That's what...
Not us. I mean, not us, but some people are saying
that. But there's discussion. Oh, and then how do you feel about Clemson? They absolutely got the doors blown off them by Georgia, which you've been high on them for... this was your long shot... college football bet from a last podcast. No need to be concerned yet, right? Because only the first game.
You're playing the 3-1 favorites, and they were right with him at halftime. It was a close game. Clemson will be fine. I think the quarterback is not good. He's not good, but their defense is really good. 66-1. I'm fine with having that ticket. I think they'll make the playoff as long as they just get through. They're the favorite in the ACC. Oh, Miami probably, but I would. Give me Clemson over Miami all day.
Yeah, Miami
is the same year every single year.
They beat Florida. Who cares? When was the last time that Florida was good at football? Missouri's ranked. They were pretty good last year.
Yeah, because they brought back everyone. They have the best receiver in football, Luther Burden. Remember the name if you don't know it yet. He's a stud. But they're going to be 4-point dogs in Tuscaloosa in 2 weeks, and I am going to absolutely fade the hell out of that. So, Missouri hasn't given up a point yet, but they haven't really played anyone. I'm out on Missouri.
Yeah. All right. That's good talking.
They beat Ohio State in the bowl last year, but no one played for Ohio State. 0 players.
Bowl season, unless it's one of the playoff
bowl season
bowls,
be sick this year.
It is going to be sick. And that's why, like, what I'm feeling okay about, again, a lot of season to go, is there was a lot of uncertainty with the Huskies, with all the turnover that we've had, all the new players. We look good. Like, purely from me watching the games. And
how do you like Will? Like, is he look all right?
He started slow. The first game I was a little iffy, and even in the first quarter of the last game, he was holding the ball too long because he was just not throwing the ball. He started freewheeling it, and after that, he was throwing dimes. Like,
once they get that tempo going, and he gets into like the freewheeling, that's what he did at Mississippi State.
I think he's been like 21 of 25, no picks, a couple touchdowns in both starts. Like, he's been totally fine. And the Huskies have our running back, Coleman, might be the best running back in the whole country. This dude is amazing. Like, he might be the best running back I've ever seen at UW. So, and our defense is great because we have a Belichick coaching our defense, and we haven't given up a touchdown the whole season. So, long story short is I was worried a couple weeks ago. I'm increasing in confidence about the Huskies this year, and I'm excited to see what happens in the Apple Cup, but I am concerned about it because the Cougs have been playing all right as well. But I just love college football, Jerz. And it's fun when the Huskies are good because then I get interested in wanting to see how the other good teams are doing and kind of try to size things up. And so hopefully that can continue on here the rest of the season, and maybe we talk some college football going forward on the pod.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the season. It's a great Saturday morning. It's like waking up, turning on game day, even if it's for like 15 minutes, and then you're locked in for the day. So
the last thing I was going to say, my last grievance, because mainly I have grievances, and I think it's fair that I have grievances with the national college football media because they've disrespected Washington forever. And we almost won the national championship last year. So I don't get what the hate is for. Notre Dame beats Texas A&M. Texas A&M has sucked forever. So Texas A&M is not good at football. They're good at spending money and getting people hyped that they might be good at football, and then they suck every single year. They get anointed as the greatest team ever because they beat Texas A&M. They lose a home game to Northern Illinois. They shouldn't be allowed to be ranked the rest of the year. Honestly, like,
and they'll probably make the playoff.
Right. Right. That's what's
because the person who made the playoff is the Notre Dame AD.
And I also think, like, nowadays with how tough the schedule is in the Big Ten and the SEC, like, that's the thing about when I was looking at Washington's schedule. Yeah, there's a lot of, we should be competitive in every game, but we could lose every game. These are tough games almost every single week. Like, to win the Big Ten or the SEC now is going to be so difficult that just like gifting Notre Dame a playoff spot because they don't play in a conference after losing to Northern Illinois. Fundamentally, Notre Dame does not belong in the playoff. You can't lose to Northern Illinois.
Yeah, and they were like third or fourth in the odds to make the playoff just because of the way the schedule is and the way that they're not in a conference. And it probably will still work out that they do just because it's whack. But yeah, Notre Dame, bad football team.
Yeah, they're plus 350 now to make the playoff. So that's good.
Okay.
That's good. But yeah, good stuff.
Wait, what are Alabama and Texas to make the playoff if you have those odds pulled up?
Yeah, just a second. Team to make the playoff. Alabama. All right, here, I'll just give you Georgia's minus 750. They'll be in the playoff.
What? That's it?
To make the playoff.
That's a me bet if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, that's the Jerz max bet. Ohio State's minus 750. They'll be in the playoff. But I would trust Ohio State less than I would trust Georgia. If I was betting someone minus 750, I'd bet Georgia. Before I bet Ohio State.
Agree.
Texas is minus 450. Oregon is minus 330. I'd take the no on that for sure if that's available. Penn State is minus 220. I'd take the no on that too.
What?
Ole Miss is minus 200. Alabama's minus 175. Miami's minus 150. I'd take the no on Miami.
Okay. Preseason, I bet Bama minus 115 and Texas minus 200. So we're in the right direction.
Like Texas futures, they're still 5-1 to win the Natty. Like,
I got 9
Texas. Because Texas played, like, I had those field level seats for the Sugar Bowl last year, which were so sick to watch UW play against Texas.
They got better this year.
Yeah. And what matters, I feel like people don't talk about it enough, is Texas has their quarterback back. That matters so much. Obviously, Georgia does as well. But like a lot of these other teams have change at quarterback. So they got on a transfer quarterback or all of these things. Like, the reason Washington last year as a longer shot team was able to make it to the national championship because it was year 2 of Penix, and he's a great quarterback and he had a great feel for the system. Yeah. Like, Ewers was solid last year. The weak link of Texas is Sark. If they had a top level championship proven coach, I think they'd win the national championship easily, but I genuinely just worry about Sark.
Yeah, they'll definitely be there. So I'm excited for week.
What's Washington to make the playoff? Dude, 15-1. I'm extraordinarily biased, but I can tell you, of all the bets that we've talked about on the pod, whether it's golf or football, 15-1 Washington to make the playoff. Why not?
Why not? No, I think that's a good bet.
All right.
I do.
Good stuff. Talk to you later.
Good stuff.